Welcome to Upturned Table, and we are playing Case File 1 for the Blade Runner RPG by Free League. And I'm Jeremy, and I'm joined today by Matt and Will.
Hey.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Let's get started. So I think the first thing to do is kind of just do a quick timeline summary of the world and where we're at. So this game itself takes place between the two movies. So the first movie was set in 2019 Los Angeles, the second in 2049. We are going to be in between those dates at 2037. Basically starting in the 90s on Earth, the decline of the planet was inevitable, and people started to look for colonizing off-world. And so the Moon and Mars, of course, were the first two, and I think some of the moons became targets of that. And also to help with the loss or the required labor for colonization and also the loss of labor on Earth, androids were invented. Basically, what we call replicants in the setting were invented by the Tyrell Corporation. And so the Nexus series was their first series. Initially, not very human-like, and by the sixth model of the Nexus, they were virtually indiscernible, identical to humans, except for they were built with a 4-year lifespan and a lack of empathy. The Void Conf test was basically the only way to tell if something was not human. And so it was a series of questions and monitoring of responses. So similar to like a lie detector, the way that lie detectors would monitor those responses. What happened was the replicants themselves were aware that they were a slave, basically a slave technology. They were beings with emotions and thoughts that were enslaved to do work for humanity and also to fight their wars. So there was a conflict between corporations off-world that began as well, and the replicants were used as those disposable soldiers. So there were this disposable workforce that had a consciousness. They were able to be aware of that situation, so they started to rebel. And so there were violent uprisings and insurrections, and the most famous that happened in 2019 was a group of Nexus 6 that were a off-world murder squad that ended up, so military trained. They came back to Earth, and ultimately what happened was in 2019, the death of Eldon Tyrell, the creator of the Tyrell Corporation and of course the main designer of the Nexus 6. What the rebellion initially started was a prohibition act. The reason that Blade Runners were brought into existence, so Blade Runners are a special department within the LAPD that are tasked with eliminating any replicants that come to Earth violating this prohibition law. Replicants were not allowed on Earth. They were prohibited and at the penalty of death. So if they were discovered, they were killed. And unfortunately, a group was able to infiltrate, and the head of the Tyrell Corporation was killed. For the longest time, that was the situation, but during that prohibition, human sympathizers, groups of human sympathizers started to arise, and hidden replicants were being protected by humanity. And after the death of the founder, the Tyrell Corporation, to kind of maintain its dominance in the market, rushed the Nexus 8 out. So the Nexus 8 were the next line of replicants, and they were identifiable by a serial number under their eye. They were very easily, there wasn't any sort of testing or anything that was required. They were marked very clearly as replicants. This still the human population of the Earth wasn't comfortable with the existence of replicants, and Tyrell then, to maintain their profitability, maintain their business, turned over the database of all known replicants still on Earth to the UN. The UN is the kind of the only existing governing body operating on the Earth. So now the UN had the database of all existing replicants, and of course it was leaked. So some anti-replicant activist within the UN released this, and so groups now had the information and began stalking and murdering any replicants that existed on Earth. So again, you had the same problem of the Prohibition Act. People were defying it. So then the Blade Runner's responsibility changed from not only eliminating replicants to also eliminating human sympathizers. So you had the ability to be judge and jury and executioner in some cases where humans were assisting replicants violating this prohibition. The thing that happened in 2022 that changed all of that was a replicant group, a group that of replicants detonated an EMP as well as various explosives and created what they called the blackout. And the blackout eliminated all functional databases, all cloud backup of anything. So all records of credit cards or digital photos or anything, and people's identity in any digital form was completely eliminated, and that hid all of the Nexus 8 replicants on Earth, protecting them from retribution or just attack. And the other thing that happened that triggered the first prohibition, that should be clear, so back in the 2020s, was a group of replicants planned to detonate a dirty bomb in Los Angeles. And we don't know if this was actually the plan of replicants or it was just blamed on them. The plot was foiled and the bomb ended up detonating in Las Vegas. So Las Vegas became an irradiated wasteland at that point. So we lost Las Vegas due to that attack. And that was the big motivating factor for the Prohibition Act. All of the Nexus 6 started to expire. So there was none existing once we got to 2025. The Tyrell Corporation filed for bankruptcy. The Wallace Corporation arose to take their place, picking up from where they left off. They bought all of their patents, all of their technology, and they released the Nexus 9. And to make this as acceptable as possible and try to integrate replicants back into human society comfortably, they guaranteed that these Nexus could not act. They were very controllable and could not ever act against humans. To prove this, Wallace Corporation, they were the only mega corporation that based themselves on Earth. All of the rest of them were off-world, and they chose Los Angeles. And so they invested heavily in Los Angeles, funding the LAPD, building a new LAPD tower, and giving the best equipment and everything that they could to the police, law enforcement, and then they also introduced a line of Nexus 9 Blade Runners. So we have replicant Blade Runners now in this world. All of this influence on the politics of Earth, and also with the UN, allowed Wallace to have the Replicant Prohibition Act lifted. So replicants now function normally within the world. They're still not accepted. I mean, socially, they're not accepted. There's still a lot of prejudice and a lot of resentment and a lot of fear because of the experiences with the Nexus 6 attacking people and assassinating, as well as the terroristic attacks. We have this situation now where 2036, the prohibition is lifted, Nexus 9's go into full production, and we are now in 2037. That's where we are now. There are replicants in the Blade Runner units, and as well as humans. Wallace is trying very hard. It's very important to them to protect the reputation and the balance between replicants and humans on Earth, both for their control of the world and profitability. That's the state we find ourselves in. Los Angeles, May 2037. Toxic rain is pouring down over the city, where gigantic buildings dwarf ancient skyscrapers. Lights from huge billboards flash along the streets and wipe across the crowds of pedestrians in Sector 5, Little Tokyo District. The White Dragon Noodle Bar is crowded with customers, sitting on stools, slurping their food out of bowls. Veteran Blade Runner Akimitsu Perez is among them, enjoying a few days of hard-earned rest and reading today's Independent Sentinel newspaper. He's in a foul mood.
Always.
So tell us a little bit about your character, Matt. You'll be playing Perez.
Akimitsu is a skimmer. In my interpretation, just means that he's not a completely corrupt Blade Runner, but he is willing to bend the rules to make his life more comfortable. His mother is a black marketeer. I envision that he has had to, on a couple of occasions, bend the rules to keep her on the streets and keep her out of a cell somewhere. However, there is a disconnect there because she really doesn't like the fact that her son is a cop. He lives in a condo that actually overlooks Little Tokyo, and he just kind of fills it with little mementos and trophies that he's removed from crime scenes, just as decoration or just so he can kind of feel more connected, I guess. He has a bit of a insecurity complex. He didn't come from like a wealthy or highly educated background, so he has a pretty pessimistic view of things and sort of rationalizes why he's bending the rules all the time just to make life easier for himself.
If you go into handouts, so that's the paper that you're reading while you eat your noodles, and just take a look at some of the headlines and just kind of what's going on. That's the current state of things. And Will, can you take a look at, so these are the orders that you've been given this morning when you reported into LAPD headquarters. You were issued, so I'll just give you a second to review those. Then we'll introduce your character. So you had a look at the paper there, Perez?
Yeah, I read about Wallace Corp bragging about their production, Eldon Tyrell's niece, and now I'm eyeing this fancy spinner in the advertisement.
So you're going to order a second bowl. The man behind the counter said, "You want more?" Any gestures to your bowl because it looks like it's empty?
Yeah, so Kitsune's just going to take a drag off his unending cigarette and look at him like, do you even need to ask? Never once paying for a bowl of ramen, by the way.
Yeah, you just walk away from the counter and there are no arguments. With some long metal chopsticks, another portion is dropped into the bowl in front of you and it slops some of the soup onto the counter, but there's your second portion. And just as you dig into that, an LAPD spinner is making some noise as it lands nearby. It's creating a lot of commotion because anybody that is in a spinner or a ship that can fly is of a much higher status. Only the rich and the elites and the LAPD are able to have flying ships, flying cars. So you know this is something important if a spinner is landing near you. And so out of that spinner, we get Amor. So Amor is Will's character, and can you describe your character for us as you exit the spinner?
Yeah, he's everything you expect a new recruit to be, but has been holding that for forever. So he's clean cut, well-to-do, dressed not expensively but nicely, pressed, irons his shirt every morning, stands upright, trying to be respectful. He doesn't push people out of the way. He waits for them to walk around him. He's everything that probably Perez hates.
Yeah, I'm literally looking at you like, oh, here comes the next dead man.
So you probably would know of each other, but maybe have never worked together. So this may be the first time to be encountering each other. Amor has some orders that he will now inform Perez about.
Well, hello, Perez. How you doing?
It starts with an A. Amor. By the way, anytime the camera cuts to Kitsune, he's somehow lighting a new cigarette. Just so you know.
Amor, you got it right.
Okay, you got a little.
Holden wants to talk to you.
Oh.
What do I have on me? Is my shirt messed up?
I was gonna say you got a little street trash in my ramen, but that's okay.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's go.
Oh, I expected. All right, let's go.
The two of you depart in Amor's spinner.
Mind if I smoke?
I don't think it would stop you anyways.
Yeah, okay.
This is interrupting Perez's time off. You expected to have at least another day of after the last case, but you're being brought in.
Yeah, I was surprised. I thought you were going to argue more. You just popped right in.
I'm kind of, internal monologue. I am sizing you up.
10 and 2 on the wheel, using my blinkers. Everything's good.
Oh my god.
You soon land at the LAPD tower. So this is a new facility just completed in the last few years. It's nicer than LAPD has ever had before, and as well as the spinner. You have a brand new LAPD issued spinner that you land on the roof. You take the elevator down to Holden's office, which is on one of the higher floors, but not the highest floor. So obviously the top brass and UN representatives are above him in the LAPD tower, but this is the deputy chief, so he has decent rank, and he runs the Blade Runner unit. So you know that this is not anything generally LAPD related. This is going to specifically be involving what you do, involving replicants or sympathizers or something.
Can I ask a real quick question?
Oh, sure.
If I missed this in the setup, I apologize. Do I know what Amor is?
I guess you would have to, because he recently appeared in the Blade Runner unit. You may suspect, because the timing was at the same time that all of the models of Nexus 9s were introduced as Blade Runners. So this was, along with the building of the new tower, this was also suddenly you had a significant number of new recruits, and it was explained to you kind of quietly that these are replicants. You better be okay with that if you want to keep your job.
I kind of figured that, so I think that's why Kitsune is spending every step in hallways, every moment in elevators, just eyeing this guy up and trying to figure him out, and because they're in his eyes the hardest people to corrupt.
Yes. Oh, good. Yeah.
Well, you're a veteran, right? You've been
Right.
doing this for a while, correct? So I want to make a good impression on you, so I'm making sure my shoes are extra polished and being extra courteous with you.
Puts me even more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Perez, you would have started working as a Blade Runner shortly after the blackout to kind of give you the sense,
Okay.
based on your experience on the Force. So that's when your job suddenly became what you expected is carrying a suitcase with a VK unit in it and identifying replicants now turned into infiltrating sympathizer groups, watching out for corruption in government and things that were related to illegal trafficking or use of replicants on Earth. So suddenly your job has a lot more human interaction involved and a lot of human suspects that you weren't expecting.
A lot messier.
Yes, yeah, a lot more complicated. Yes.
Right.
You now are in the office, in Holden's office.
That's my cigarette smoke.
You have dealt with Holden before, of course. The most distinctive thing is the kind of the rasping breath that he takes through his synthetic lungs. Because, of course, Holden was the Blade Runner that confronted or was running a VK test on the replicant Leon Kowalski.
Yeah.
So 18 years ago, he was shot through the lungs. He hasn't quit smoking, but he is operating on artificial lungs at this point. And as you can see, his office is still full of smoke. So Perez has no problem finding an ashtray as they enter. So sit down. Holden says, you can hear his rasping voice as he takes these breaths.
I wait for Perez to sit first.
Perez is going to attempt to reach over and take a cigarette off the desk, if there is one, and light it and smoke, and sit down.
All right, Holden eyes you. He kind of expected this behavior, but he's not. Yeah, he's not happy to be losing cigarettes. But he knows that's the kind of guy you are. So. He knew inviting you in is going to lose him some smoke. All right, we got an urgent situation. Last night, there was a shooting in Sector 1 in a sordid place called the Snake Pit, in Nightclub Row. So 2 Nexus 9 Blade Runners were there. Serial number LH3-7.93 and SN9-1.48. Codenames Lee and Sander. So maybe you've seen them around. I don't know. Anyway, Sander was shot dead. Lee is missing. We have no idea where she is.
What were they doing in the club?
They're there investigating. We had some suspicion of a Nexus 8 activity in the club itself. They were called there to investigate. And unfortunately, at the time, there was also a little scuffle with some human supremacists at the club. So some of the dancers, the replicant dancers were being harassed. There was a human supremacist presence. And so things just all went to hell. We got a dead Blade Runner and a missing Blade Runner.
I offer Amor one of Holden's cigarettes.
I just raise my hand and kind of nod or, shake my head no.
Is that the missing Lee?
Yeah, this is Lee that we're missing, and Sander's body has been brought to the crime lab in the tower. Before we read about this in Kill Magazine tomorrow, I want you guys to investigate this. The human supremacists may have something to do with it. We just don't know at this time. As you know, Wallace recently got the wide release of Nexus 9 on the Earth, and mistrust against replicants is still running pretty high. So if someone is killing and kidnapping Nexus 9s, we need to find them and fast. So this is an image of Lee. I can get you their personnel files to take a look at. Also, on top of all this, we got Wallace Corporation pushing really hard. So their business, of course, depends on the success of the Nexus 9 replicants. Anything that jeopardizes this is going to be a huge blow to their bottom line, which is going to put pressure on us. As you know, the Wallace Corporation is heavily invested in the LAPD. They're letting us run this investigation and have offered assistance. So the PR manager, Cal, is expecting you at Wallace Corp HQ to tell you more about Lee. They have some information. Play nice with them, and I mean it. You can do this any way you want. You can split up and cover more ground. I don't care, as long as you get results and fast. So you have the full resources of the rep detect unit at your disposal. As I said, Sander's body is in the crime lab. If you want to take a look at that, you have the LAPD mainframe with the personnel files of both Sander and Lee. There is Esper footage, so surveillance, video and photos of the snake pit last night. So maybe you'll get lucky there. I've uploaded everything, all relevant information to your Kaya. Of course, keep in touch on the progress of your information and file any clues that you may find, any information or evidence you may find, filing that with the LAPD mainframe so we can maintain the status of this investigation.
What was the name of the suit that Wallace we're supposed to talk to?
Cal.
QELL.
Was there any other casualties? How about the dancers? Were any of them shot in the...
No other casualties. There was a dancer that was heavily involved. This is the PR rep at Wallace. That's Cal. That's asked to meet with you. No other casualties. The security was able to get the crowd out and safe once the bullets started flying. One of the dancers was directly involved in the scuffle with the human supremacists, but other than that, we don't have much information. You'll probably be able to get more from either the mainframe, the Esper footage, or just talking to any witnesses.
Okay. We have access to like witness names.
Probably the best person to talk to at the snake pit is, of course, the owner. You get down there, and I'm sure he'll be more than happy that we still have the place cordoned off, so his business is shut down until our investigation is finished. So I'm sure
he'll be thrilled.
He'll be more than happy to to talk with you, get this wrapped up, so he can open the club back up.
Does Kistuen, with his kind of shady background, is he familiar with the snake pit? Does he have any just general impression of the place?
There was a killing involved in 2019 that the snake pit owner Taffy Lewis was able to turn into a kind of infamous popularity for the club. So it has the highest level of the highest quality of replicant dancers, and is a very very well known club. So I'm sure you've had run-ins with Taffy in the past, and he's been able to benefit from the tragedy of the Blade Runners actually having to kill one of their dancers to make it a very popular place. And I think basically he'll be able to point you in the direction of anybody that's also witnessed the what was going on that night.
Are we talking about the 2019 killing with the legendary Decker?
Yes, right. Yeah, that was. We haven't heard much. We didn't hear much from him after 2019, but
wow.
That was Deckard's case. You're on the clock now. We got to find out what's going on as fast as possible. So you need to talk to Wallace, get down to the snake pit. Maybe while you're here, hit the crime lab, the mainframe. Whatever you think is appropriate. But we gotta find out fast. Like I said, Wallace has information about Lee that may be useful. Taffy Lewis is who you need to talk to at the snake pit.
Sounds good. Kitsu's going to stand up, ash out his cigarette in his ashtray, start to turn, then turn back and grab one more cigarette, and then walk out.
Okay, I'll get up a little nervously after that. But go ahead.
All right, kid, let's walk and talk.
Okay. What are we talking about? What are we doing? I feel like you have more experience maybe in this than me.
Oh, sorry. As Amor is getting up to leave, Holden says, "Amor, hold on a minute."
Yes, sir. Yes.
We're gonna need a baseline test before you actually hit the streets there. I noticed from your performance records you may be a little off, so we're gonna need you to report to the baseline testing room to make sure everything's in order.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I'll try to get done as quick as possible so we can get this case knocked out.
All right.
Want me to meet you somewhere, Perez, afterwards?
Yeah. Well, if I'm going on my own, I think you should meet me at the snake pit.
Okay.
I know the owner, sort of, so maybe I'll go talk to him while you're getting your oil changed.
I get these done all the time. They're quick. I'll be in and out.
I'd like to... I don't know what the time increment is like, but if possible, I wanted to make a little bit of a requisition while I'm here.
Oh, sure.
It's a little odd. I want to requisition a street cop, a plainclothes or a uniformed officer.
Let's do that. So let's see what that's going to require. So you're going to have to spend a promotion point, and I think you got a roll.
Woohoo! I get a roll.
Let me see how much that's going to cost.
How's your tech, Amor?
My tech?
Mm-hmm.
I have the basic training. I'm all right.
Okay.
I mean, I can navigate a computer, if that's what you're asking.
Me and machines don't get along super great. Maybe when it comes to going through the mainframe, you can take the lead on that.
Sure, I could definitely do that. Yeah, absolutely.
Just mechanically, any investigations or queries done at LAPD get advantage, and you can, with your Kaya units, you can do remote queries of LAPD database to get information. Nice. But that's just a straight tech roll. So if you've got good tech and you're doing it at LAPD, it's pretty strong.
Oh,
what is advantage mechanically in this game?
I mean, you get one more base die, so you're rolling one more die of the whichever is lower, your attribute or the skill.
Gotcha. Okay.
You get one more of the lower dice.
Perez, are you heading out then right now to go to the snake pit?
Well, your test takes a shift, correct?
Yeah, it'll take a whole shift.
So yeah, I think I'd like to split the time and go to the snake pit.
Okay.
That's why I'm gonna take this guy with me, hopefully.
I gotcha.
And then you just meet up with us assuming you pass your test, Junior.
It shouldn't be a problem. I always pass them. If you want, maybe I'll go over the footage then afterwards, and I can call you and plan from there.
Okay.
So regardless, yeah, communication, you have closed lines, you have protected communication between each other. You're basically you're in both places at the same time, basically, as far as your awareness of what's going on.
Awesome.
You can, depending on situations, if there is evidence or something that you do not want to upload or you do not want to reveal to the LAPD or even your partner, you're allowed to do that. So specify to me you don't want anybody to know. Yeah, this is confidential. I'm not sharing this with anybody.
Okay.
2 or more promotion points. You'll have to hit up Holden for that. And you wouldn't be able to take him with you to the snake pit, but he would be available in the next shift. So by the afternoon, he would be available. But it'll take a while for the request to be processed, but it'll take a shift. So by this afternoon, you'd be able to do that.
Okay, so then I guess what I'm hoping will happen is by the end of the shift, Amor and this cop are meeting me over there. Hopefully. Unless Amor wants to do something else, obviously.
And Amor has to do the baseline. Okay, so why don't you roll? So that's going to be two promotion points. Roll connections. And if you fail the roll, so it's a probably good idea to push as much as you can. If you fail the roll, you lose the promotion points and nothing happens.
So it's going to be empathy D12 and connections D10. What'd I get? I got a crit.
Oh, nice.
A crit and a success. So 3 successes, I guess.
Excellent. All right. So 3 successes. So you get a very you get a lot of cooperation. So your appeal to Holden was like we're shorthanded, obviously. So you need this backup. So I'll see what I can do. And so you're going to get a very capable street cop because of all that success. A very cooperative, well equipped street cop. He'll be with you by the afternoon. I'll send him. I'll get in touch with Amor after the baseline test. Get them together. So no problem. The order's been sent, so it'll happen by the afternoon.
Thank you, sir.
Amor. So let's first. So Akimitsu, Perez, you take your spinner, or a spinner that was waiting for you. I don't know if yours is still parked at your place. You take a spinner to the snake pit. So while you're traveling, let's do the test. You report to the testing room, and there's a small metal stool you've sat in before, facing this microphone and this panel that obviously has all the monitoring devices, and you need to sit and look directly at that while your test is performed. And it's just a roll, but we'll just do a little bit of dialogue here. Your baseline that you read to start the test is, "The life of my wife is precious." That'll begin the test. You just need to repeat the last word of every sentence that the tester is delivering to you. And this is a person on the other end monitoring you. So this is not done by machine. This is actually done by an LAPD technician.
Whew. Sit down. Do this every day. Okay.
Yeah, so to begin the baseline test, read your baseline phrase and then repeat the last word of every sentence that the tester gives you.
Okay. The life of my wife is precious.
Precious. Her look of approval is precious.
Precious.
Our time together as man and wife is precious.
Precious.
Devastated.
Devastated.
The death of my wife would leave me devastated.
Devastated.
Her disappointment makes me devastated.
Devastated.
All right, that's the end of the test. So I need you. I need to do some calculation here, and you're going to need to roll insight.
All right. A success. I got a success.
So now you have a promotion point. You're good to go. You pass the test, and so there's no more suspicion of your state. So yeah, it looks like you're all above the line. So yeah, keep it together, Amor, and hopefully we won't see you again soon.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Door opens behind you, and you're all set. So let's cut to the spinner landing. Perez's spinner lands outside the snake pit. You can already see there's some officers out front. And there's still a crowd. So there's some tape, of course, out front. And there's still a little bit of a crowd lingering, wondering what's going on. Can't tell. It looks like just locals.
What was the time lapse from when this occurred to when Holden talked to us?
Oh, so it happened the previous night.
The previous night. Okay.
So it just happened last night.
Just happened. All right, cool.
Okay, so Taffy Lewis is inside, but when you arrive, there's of course a police line outside and a small crowd. Looks like mostly locals. You notice there's a tall, pale man in the crowd who's at least a head or two higher than the rest of the crowd, but everyone just kind of looking with concern. If you want to roll observation to notice anything else in the crowd, that's possible, or you can just proceed inside. Kind of up to you.
No, if I notice this tall, pale guy, I'm definitely gonna survey him and the rest of the crowd before I go in.
Okay.
So it's a D8 and a D10 for observation.
Oh, man.
Woo, killing it.
Go Perez.
So you notice a tall, pale man at the scene, a bit taller than everybody else in the crowd.
Yeah.
Yes. And as you make eye contact with him, he suddenly is aware of you and recognizes what you are and starts approaching you. Officer, I saw the whole. I can tell you anything you need to know about that night. I was right inside. I was right in the middle of the whole scuffle.
Perez takes a big drag, blows it straight in the guy's face. What's your name?
Styles. They call me Styles.
So I do not recognize this guy, correct?
No, yeah, you haven't seen him before.
Have you given a statement to the police, Styles?
No, I was waiting for somebody of your status to arrive because I happen to know this was a Blade Runner involved, so I didn't want to talk to these the regular LAPD here.
Well, I appreciate your enthusiasm. Do me a favor. Can you just wait out here with these nice officers, and I will get back to you in just a few minutes?
All right, yeah, you got it. I'm here. Anything you need, I'll be waiting right here for you. Yeah, just take your time. I'm right here.
All right. I'm gonna start walking in, but I'm gonna stop by the LAPD guys and just sort of whisper, like, "Keep an eye on Stretch over there. Don't let him leave."
Yeah, you got it, Perez.
Then I'll go in.
Yeah, you enter just the little entrance there, and I guess you see that Taffy is just sitting. Taffy Lewis has already got a seat at the bar. He's just sitting there waiting for things to be over with, and you would see this from the Esper footage, but you'll also, this is actually what you see in the main room near the stage. So you walk by as you cross the main room there towards Taffy. You notice blood on the floor, and things are pretty much in the state of the scuffle. There's, as you can see, they haven't touched anything, and the bar is still covered with the empty glasses and everything from last night.
So I'm gonna lean on the bar next to Taffy and just start drinking from a left glass. This can't be good for business.
Officer, let me get you something a little fresher. And Taffy stands up and leans over the bar, and he grabs a bottle from behind the bar and a fresh glass and slides them next to you. I wouldn't want the LAPD to think I was not properly entertaining a Blade Runner in our place of business. You got a whole bottle. You got a whole bottle and a glass.
I appreciate that, Taffy. You want to tell me your side of what went on?
Well, I wasn't actually in the room at the time, so I'm hearing a lot of accounts from my employees and security. But yeah, it looks like a couple of yours got into a bit of a scuffle. Some shots went off. One of them ends up dead, and that's all I know. You guys took away the body early this morning. If you could do anything to get these guys to buzz off, I would be more than happy to offer you some complimentary services on your next visit. We need to get the place open as soon as possible.
I understand. A little grease, the wheel turns faster. Who was here, Taffy? You got a bartender, you got a floor manager, what do you got?
Probably the person that saw the most was Iris. We got a dancer. She's pretty shaken up, so I don't know if she's gonna say much to you, but yeah, she was right in the middle of it. And the security, none of them is here right now, but they was telling me that the human supremacist group was causing some trouble, and yeah, so that's all I know from what I've been told.
The security, you said it was called Esper?
The Esper footage is like kind of surveillance cameras all over the city, and so the whole system is kind of connected. So that's basically what you're looking at, is an Esper image of the crime scene.
Okay.
So if you want to, you can just like scroll your mouse wheel in and zoom into that photo. And if there's anything in this room that's suggested on this in this photo that you want to take a look at, feel free. Aside from Iris, I don't know what else I can tell you. So finish up what you got to do and help us get this place open again.
So I'm going to kind of walk that open floor between the stage and the bar.
Okay.
Just looking for anything the cops may not have already tagged or picked up.
Okay.
Shell casings, matchbooks.
Matchbooks. Yeah, there's a few snake pit matchbooks around if you need to have one of those for evidence.
All right. I'm carrying the bottle with me, by the way, when I do it.
Yeah, basically the stuff you can see without rolling for it would be like broken bottles and kind of you see the stools and everything thrown around, so the signs of the scuffle near the stage. So obviously bottles were thrown at the stage, stools got knocked over. Gotcha.
So would there be like video of the incident, or is it just still?
Yeah, this is all you have right now. Yeah, there wasn't anything. Taffy has some kind of deal that when his business is in operation, it's not monitored, so you don't have any footage of what may have been going on.
Okay.
So I got friends in high places at the LAPD, so you already know not to fuck with me, Perez, because it could if I lodge a complaint, they're gonna listen.
Mm-hmm. So this dancer, what was her name?
Iris.
Nexus?
All of the dances here are Nexus 9s. We got the latest and the greatest, and of course they will do you no harm.
Right. The human rebel folks just sprouted up out of nowhere, or are you in the custom of hosting those types with your Nexus ladies around?
One of them is a very prominent figure, should I say, in the city. I don't want to give any names, but I could be convinced or manipulated to tell you some more. I could. I'm not actually willing to reveal that name at the time, but it was he was a known supremacist, shall we say?
Yeah, I'm gonna need that name.
I don't know what I can tell you. It probably would get me in more trouble giving you that name than it's worth.
The sooner I get this figured out, Taffy, the sooner you're back in business.
Right. You got a point. There, officer. So if you want to manipulate, give me...
manipulate?
Yeah, give me a manipulate.
I'm good at that.
All right.
So it's 2d12s. Oh, that's a crit.
Oh, whoa, okay. So I don't expect this to go very far unless this gentleman is willing to reveal this himself. The individual I'm referring to is Gilles Scalar. You know him as the editor, publisher of Kill magazine. So if they're doing a story about this tomorrow, then that's going to put him in here. That's fine. Okay, so Gel and his group were watching the dancers, and they started throwing things. They started yelling names I'm not going to repeat, and the things got rowdy. The dancer was Iris. The publisher was there, and it was pretty much the agitator. He was pretty much leading the show. So your officers got involved at some point, and that's when things went bad. I didn't see anybody with him with any weapons. So as far as I know, I don't know where the shot came from. Like who was shooting at who.
Do they have like a part of the bar they usually sit at, or a table they always take up?
Yeah, they usually have a spot in the lounge. They're in the corner of the lounge where they usually hang out. And for some reason, Iris caught their attention, so they came out to the main stage and started some trouble. Because I am positive you will help this investigation move fast and get my business back open. There was also this tall, pale guy that was in there. He confronted them. He was, according to my security, kind of the white knight of Iris, and he was helping her as she was being harassed by this group.
Yeah. Okay. And where's Iris right now?
If you go through the rooms, the curtains over there, the dressing rooms are right behind where that mirror is. Oh.
All right. I'm gonna go talk to her.
You want to roll observation for anything else in the room, or is there anything else in that photo that you want to see?
Yeah. Well, one success.
Okay, that's enough. As you're headed through the curtained doorway, you glance at the mirror, and as you can see in the photo, the mirror is completely shattered, and it doesn't look like that happened from a bottle or a stool or anything. It looks like that was actually a bullet.
Okay.
But there were no casings. You didn't see any casings on the floor. None of them had been identified by the investigators that were there so far. It does look like a bullet went through the mirror.
Is there remnants of the bullet? Is it like lodged in there? Or?
It very well could be. Yeah, it looks like it from because the mirror kind of fell off the wall, and there's but it's still leaning back the wall right behind it. If you look behind the mirror, I'm sure you can see if there's still.
I'm gonna look. Definitely look.
You find just embedded in the wall. The mirror slowed it down a bit, but just embedded in the wall, you see a slug. There's a bullet in the wall. If you want to take that,
try to dig it out. Yeah.
All right.
Pop that in my evidence bag, aka my coat pocket.
Let's cut back real quick to Will as Perez is headed back to talk to Iris. You just kind of were cooling your heels for a while, knowing that you had to wait a bit for this requisition to go through, and that an LAPD officer was going to be joining you, and you got a uniformed officer that looks really well equipped. He's got body armor, an ender rifle, so you guys are going to be comparably equipped and able to deal with just about anything. He comes up to you and says, "Are you Amor reporting, sir? I heard you needed some assistance on a case."
Yes, we're going to be heading out and meeting Perez. I've already finished my testing?
Yes, the test is all. You were just kind of hanging out after the test and waiting for this cop to show up.
If there's anything else you need to handle here before we head out, do it now. Otherwise, we're on our way.
Good to go, sir. I'm
Your name?
Right behind you. I'm Andre, sir. Andre Petrov. I got some experience. I got your back. So don't worry. I'm not a new recruit, as you may be able to tell. So you got a like a 40s kind of seasoned LAPD officer with pretty heavily equipped with combat armor and a rifle.
I'm gonna and we're jumping, I assume, in my spinner to catch up with him.
Mm-hmm.
So on the way there, I'm just gonna small talk this guy and try to get a read on him. He's not a Blade Runner. He's just a rank and file officer.
Yes.
Like, he's claiming he's competent. I'm going to take his word for that. But does he seem like he's a upstanding officer, or does it seem like I'm trying to think of how I would broach that with him.
He's very clean cut and seems to be by the book. He doesn't ask you anything about the case. on the way to the spinner or on your flight to the snake pit. He follows orders, and he's not gonna poke his nose into anything that's above his pay grade. So he just he knows he's there for backup, no questions asked.
Okay. I'm gonna tell him that Perez asked for you to be out here with us. You seem like a good officer. By all accounts, your records show you being clean and upstanding. If anything happens and you feel uncomfortable with the situation, bring it to me if Perez asks you for anything that you are not used to having to deal with.
You got it, sir. I know Perez by reputation only, but I know where you're coming from. He gives you a little smile, so he knows what he's dealing with. He's just not going to have a strong opinion about it.
Okay, excellent. Otherwise, just small talk, chat a little bit, try to be friendly.
Yeah, he seems very normal and doesn't react at all. He's not. You hear from his opinion in just the small talk. He doesn't have any strong opinions about replicants and the Force or anything. He's very very cool with the kind of the new direction of the LAPD, even though he's been around, and he likes his shiny new combat armor. So. Pass the test, and you guys are off to the snake pit. Okay, so let's cut back to Perez. You hear some sobbing, Perez, as you approach. There's a row, as you can see, once you go through the curtains, there's a row of dressing rooms, and you hear sobbing coming from one of the rooms.
Yeah, I'll head directly there.
You see a girl in a dressing gown. Doesn't look like she's changed from last night. She's just covered up a little bit, and she's still got her all her glitter and fancy makeup from the night before, still in her dancing outfit, and just sobbing over the dressing table. And she doesn't notice you come in.
I'm gonna light a fresh cigarette and just sort of put it out in front of her so she can see it.
She actually reaches out with 2 fingers, like she wants you to put a cigarette in there. You see an ashtray in front of her, full of a lot of stumped out butts, and she's like moving her fingers, kind of a little scissoring action, like put a cigarette in between these.
Yes. Okay. Perfect. I give her the fresh cigarette, and if there's a glass handy, I pour some drink out of my bottle for her.
Oh, very good.
Rough night, kid.
Yeah. I never seen nothing like that before. Loud. It was really loud, and yeah, we've never had customers go after me like that. I don't know what was wrong with these guys.
Taffy tells me, what is that guy's name? Is it
Skylar? Skylar. You can just call him Skylar. The publisher. Okay. Yeah.
Taffy tells me Skylar is kind of a regular. You ever interacted with him before?
Yeah, I know he has a thing against us, but I never saw it. It never was violent. He always just came here and drank. I think for his his little rag, his tabloid, this is a great place to get leads and pick up on stories. So he frequented this place, but never had this group with them, and they never got out of control like that.
And what about Tall and Pasty out there? You know him?
Oh, I'm not quite sure who you're referring to.
Styles, he calls himself?
Styles.
I heard he might have kind of tried to help you when it all went down.
I don't remember anything like that. No, there was some security, but I don't know a pale guy.
I take a big drag on my cigarette, fill the room with smoke, and I'm just trying to help you, right, Iris?
I know.
So maybe you remember Styles a little?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people in this place. There's a lot of pale people. So I've seen my share. I don't know this particular guy that you're talking about.
It's always raining, so there's a lot of pale people.
And she's drained the glass already that you poured for her, and she holds it back out to you, noticing you still have the bottle.
I'll give her no snort. So 2 questions, I guess. One is, can I get a read on her truthfulness? And 2, are Nexus better at disguising that kind of thing?
If you make an insight roll, you can tell, you'll have some idea whether or not she's lying. And and maybe in her business, she's learned to be very deceptive about how attractive and funny individuals may be.
Okay, cool.
Well, and obviously you're bigoted towards, us replicants, so you just think we don't have souls, so we all can lie.
That is true.
Are you saying that over the radio?
Carefully, you're gonna talk me into a disadvantage or something.
I can hear you, you son of a.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Empathy is a D12, insight is a D8. Oh, I got a crit. Yeah.
All right. So you can definitely tell Iris is lying, but you also know that putting any pressure on her is not going to get any more information. It seems like she's just going to collapse on you. She seems pretty mentally fragile. Like she's just about had it.
All right, Iris. I might send in an officer later to get some just basic details from you, but don't wander off too far, okay?
All right, I'll be here. And she keeps at the glass. Did you refill her glass? She's drinking. Okay,
yes, absolutely
drinking that and kind of turns away. Yeah, turns away from you.
I'm gonna give her like the creepy, still looking at you from behind for a minute, and then turn around and walk out.
Officer, wait. Yeah, the guy you're talking about is His name is Styles. He protected me in this situation. The security around here is kind of slow, and Styles. He was the one that got in the way, and I think created the whole kind of the whole scuffle. And then shots were fired, and one of yours was killed.
So I'm gonna do the Columbo cigarettes in between my fingers, rubbing my forehead thing. And all right, is he Nexus?
I don't know for sure. I know he's one of us, but I don't know if he's which model exactly. I know he hangs around the Animal Row is where they usually find him, but he's good to us. He's good to replicant people. So we look kindly on him, but he usually hangs out at Animoid Row.
Okay.
So she has no idea he's right outside.
Yeah. All right, Iris. I'll be talking to you. Stay nearby. As I'm walking back out, I want to get on my, what do we call our device?
Kaya.
And I'm going to attempt to contact Amor, hoping he's done.
Yeah, go ahead. You can talk freely over the radios to each other. So
I'm just going to kind of sum up what I've seen done. I'm going to feed him the names, Styles, Iris, Skylar from Kill Magazine, and I'm trying to pick your brain, Amor. Do you think we can cross-reference these guys on the computer?
I can get that done for you, no problem. So are we already on our way right at this point, or is this like?
Yeah, you guys would be airborne. Yeah, you're talking to him while you're flying in. If you let Andre fly, then you have the freedom. You can do the database query if you want.
Okay.
From while you're traveling.
So I don't have advantage because we're not in base, right?
Right.
So is this intelligence tech?
Yes. Yeah. Tech roll. Yeah. So your intelligence and your tech.
There you go. You got one.
Success. All right. Oh, so what was that query for? Well, just the names?
Yeah, just cross-reference Styles, Iris, and Skylar.
All right.
Or probably more Styles and Skylar.
Yeah, so you've got a mugshot of Styles and his serial number. So he's been, there's a data file on the mainframe about Styles.
So he is a Nexus.
Yeah, he's a Nexus 8.
Oh.
Yeah, so from the ID on his eye, you can identify him. So you have his serial number if you want to make sure who he is. Prior to that, so he's had some interaction with LAPD, so that's why he's got a record here, because otherwise it would have been eliminated during the blackout. There's no other connections to, and his known kind of place where he's seen is Animoid Row, like Iris said. So that was true. That connects. Skylar, Jalais Skylar is the editor is a known. He's had run-ins with the LAPD. Nothing's come of it, I guess, because of the threat of what he can publish. So his power as at the magazine kind of keeps the LAPD at bay a bit. But he's the editor and a known human supremacist. So he's had several run-ins harassing, and he was there last night. From the report, from everything that the previous team was there, he was definitely there last night, involved in the scuffle. And what other names?
It's just Iris. Does she pop up in any way?
Aside from being a Nexus 9 dancer, she's just registered as a Nexus 9 dancer at Taffy's club, but there's no other information about her having any connections aside from being a replicant. Any other connections to Styles or anybody else?
And Styles is in the system, but not for anything major. A warrant out for him or anything. He's just
he's just identified. He's been in police custody before, but for nothing. Just public disturbances. Just
bar fights.
Yeah, bar fights and just kind of getting in trouble, being a little heavy-handed with people, but nothing connected to any sort of trafficking or anything.
Okay.
Highly illegal.
I'm gonna wander across the club floor towards the exit. Stop, like before I'm going out, and say, "Oh, so Taffy,
One more thing.
One more thing.
Yeah. What can I do for you?
Help me understand why a reputable establishment known for its Nexus dancers is a favorite haunt of a known human supremacist."
Well, this guy, he likes the darker side of the street, shall we say, and he gets a lot of information and connections to things, maybe fetishes that he may have, shall we say, from this place. No, I don't know. There's nothing more I can tell you. I don't know anything about it, but yeah, he's here for all the wrong reasons, I would say. And it was kind of we never had this kind of behavior from him before, so yeah, I don't know if he'll be back.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and exit. Is Styles still outside?
Yeah, Styles is still out there in the crowd, and also the spinner is landing with Amor and Officer Petrov.
I'm gonna hold up a finger to Styles, like give me 1 minute, and then walk over to the spinner.
How we looking, Perez?
Messy. So we have the editor of Kill Magazine with other known human supremacists creating this ruckus that leads to the shooting. And you see Pasty Bald fella over there?
Yeah?
Yeah, he's an 8, and he came to the defense of one of the girls who I just talked to. All the names I fed you. Did you come up with anything?
Well, I mean, he's an 8, all right. He's in the system, but nothing major, nothing that would link him to violence of this sort.
Okay.
Iris, dancer, no. And Skylar, just confirmed everything you just said. Again, none of them seem to have anything really outstanding. Though, I'm trying to think. When I looked at Skylar, was there known associates for his human supremacy? Yeah,
no, there wasn't any names listed affiliated with him. He does support. I mean, I think he does a lot of his publication, and maybe financially he supports that movement more than having high level associates as friends or employees or anything.
What is Kill Magazine known for?
It's known as a just kind of a gossip magazine. So all the shadier kind of the equivalent of
like a Violent National Enquirer or something like that? Or?
Yeah, kind of like it would be like a if
New York Post,
if Live Leak was a magazine. Yeah. So it's all the most horrible stuff that happens, and also scandals about politicians, or he takes down, he can be used, his magazine can be used as a tool to take down prominent figures or cause embarrassment or scandal, and so he's often involved in blackmail with high level individuals. So he's definitely feared. That magazine and himself are feared.
Yeah, he's in the system a lot, but there's never any charges or never anything associated with him. If you're gonna approach him, you gotta approach him.
Right. My working theory is he may be a human supremacist, but he may have some kind of Nexus kink. He's one of these self-loathing types, which makes me wonder if Taffy, who doesn't want to be involved, might have something on him that we can kind of keep in our back pocket. Of course, there's no video, so...
There's no video? How do you get away with that?
Taffy knows some people.
Okay.
So you wanna help me out? You wanna talk to this big bald fella for me?
Sure, and this I You asked for some backup?
Oh, Petrov, I've heard of you.
Wow. That's great to hear. I know you as well, Perez, by name mostly, but it's an honor to be working with Blade Runners. I hope I can serve you well.
Sure it is, man. You want a cigarette?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, Andre takes one. He's happy to feel included in the group.
Keep an eye on the car. We're going to go talk to this guy.
Will do.
So, what are you thinking? Good cop, bad cop?
Yeah. Would you fall for that?
Well, probably not, but...
Well, you're definitely the good cop, so you go first.
Right, it's Styles, right? Styles. Is he looking at us right now? Like, is he clocking us as we approach?
Yeah, he's been aware of you guys the whole. Yeah, he's been watching the interaction. He saw Perez leave the front door of the club and watch you guys talking. And the one thing I should bring up in this setting too, because Styles has been revealed as a Nexus 8. You do have a decision to make whether he should be turned in or not, because Nexus 9s are basically the only accepted replicants. Nexus 8s had been in hiding. So the fact that he's been on record and registered as an 8, you should consider whether or not to let him keep doing what he's doing, being a friend to replicants, or if he should be behind bars because he is an unpredictable replicant that may be a threat, may be seen as a threat.
So an 8 around a crime scene, Amor. I mean, that's your leverage right there.
Okay. We'll approach. We'll walk up, and when we get about 10 feet or so away, I'll stop and say, "Styles?" questioningly, as if I don't know his name.
Officers, yes. I've been waiting here just like you asked, officer. So what can I do for you? What can I do? What do you need?
I'd love to get your side of the story. Why don't you tell me what happened in there?
All right. So here we. Okay, great. I was in the club. I'm a guest of the club, right? And so then I see these guys, and they're throwing bottles at Iris, and Iris and I go way back. So I say, "Hey, you guys, don't be doing that." And then they call me some names I'm not going to repeat, and then they start to pull at her. They head toward the stage, and they're pulling at her, and so I had to get involved. And so physically, I'm involved in this altercation. And the one guy that I definitely recognized, that I definitely know was there, was the Skylar, that Jelly Skylar, that Kill Magazine guy. He was there. He was egging everything on. He was making the whole situation really difficult.
This guy seems squirrely. I don't know.
Before I know it, we hear this big bang, and one of you guys is on the ground. But prior to that, I was involved in the fight. I didn't see where these guys came from, where your officers came from. I didn't see anyone until he hit the ground, and that's what happened.
So you're saying that they were already throwing bottles at Iris before you approached them?
Yeah, I intervened. The security, they're not so fast. So I stood up, and Iris is a friend of mine. So I'm gonna get involved. I'm gonna have to get involved. So I ran up to the stage, and I said, "Stop doing that." And then the profanities, and then the scuffle, and then bang.
But you made sure Iris was okay.
Yes. Iris and I are old friends, so I had to make sure she was okay. She doesn't deserve to. This kind of harassment. I don't know what that was all about. It hasn't happened before. The club is usually very peaceful. There's not these kinds of disturbances.
So you said you saw Sander hit the floor. That's the runner that went down. Did you see where Lee went? The other one?
I didn't even know there were two of them. The only officer that I saw was the one that was shot, and that was after the gunshot and after he hit the ground. After that, I only saw the one officer, so I don't know who the shooter was. I don't know if it was supremacists. I don't know what was going on. I didn't see anything except your boy on the ground.
So you're telling me they're throwing some bottles. You interceded.
Yes.
A scuffle started.
Yes, physically, I was interceding with the bottle throwers.
Who pulled? Who drew first?
I didn't see a gun. I saw no weapons. I just heard bang, and then I saw your boy, and that was it. That was, and then we got out of there. You got to get out of there. There's people are shooting, so I got Iris into safety, and that was. I didn't see a single weapon. I don't know where that came from.
I'm gonna kind of lean in to Amor, like keep grilling him, and we're gonna go talk to the uniformed boy at the front door.
Okay.
So yeah, you get more of the same from Styles, his heroic theatrics. So who do you want to talk to?
One of the uniforms that I talked to when I first went in. I just want to find out if they've already got blood or tissue samples, running tests on them, any information about like fingerprints or tracks.
Perez, we turned in everything to the database. The blood on the floor is Sander. So it's been identified, and his body's at the crime lab now. Beyond that, we don't have any other DNA. We don't have any leads on a weapon. We don't know who fired what. Sander's weapon was not discharged. It was in his hand, but not never discharged during the scuffle. Aside from that, no other leads as far as from the scene itself.
Is the club part of a larger building structure with other things?
I would imagine everything is kind of like in high rises. Yeah, so it's probably this is probably street level, and there may be stuff above it, but it wouldn't have been as far as the LAPD and everybody know there wasn't any involvement in any of the units or businesses above the club. Like nobody came and went from anywhere, and there was no gunfire or anything above this level.
Do we require warrants for searches? Is that a thing currently? Or?
So regular officers do. Blade Runners show their badge, and it's basically the skeleton key to the city. So yeah, nobody will get in your way unless they have a really good reason or they think they have some pull.
But the regular police do have to have warrants.
Yes, yeah, the regular LAPD will have to follow procedures. But yeah, you Blade Runner units have free reign.
All right, I'll just go back over and see how the grilling's going.
All right, so shortly after he walks away, I'm gonna lean over to Andre. I'm assuming he's there with me. I'm going to tell him to follow Perez. He's the one who asked for the backup. I want to make sure he's covered.
Okay, good.
And as soon as Andre walks away, I'm going to lean into Styles and just trying to play it as a friend here. Just be like, look, people who come up in our system flagged as 8s, we're supposed to bring in. And every witness that we question that doesn't give us anything concrete, other detectives tend to come and look in on later. Just as a friend, and I mean this, if there's anything else you could tell me that I can flag you as being cooperative, will do a lot to keep people from sniffing around.
That's a good cop right there.
Very good. If you want to roll manipulation, but with a disadvantage, you can follow through. Like that that'll hit Styles like full in the face, like what you're saying to him right now.
Okay, so is that basically I rolled?
Take away the lower die.
Okay.
So if you're...
I'm just rolling one die.
Yes,
gotcha.
Yeah, you're rolling one die for manipulation. So...
They're both D10s, so just one D10.
Yeah, one D10. Let's see what you get.
Boom!
Oh,
yeah!
Oh, man. Okay, so... Oh, damn. Wow. So if you would have brought him in, you would have had advantage on the interrogation. But yeah, you did fine. Just right out in the street. Nice.
Good cop paid off.
Styles' jumpy kind of persona, he just suddenly becomes very still, and he just like looks directly at you. He says, "Lee was tormented. We had planned to help her escape off-world as part of the Replicant underground that you may be aware of.
Oh, shit.
It was Lee who shot your boy. Sander was shot by his own partner. Sander detected me, identified me for what I was during the evening. During the brawl, he was about to arrest me. So Lee prevented that, and fortunately resulting in his death. And the last thing I saw was her leaving by metro cab in the front of the club. And then he's just quiet.
Okay, I'm gonna need you to go. And I'm gonna need you to go now before Perez gets back.
Yeah, so Styles just kind of nods and just kind of briskly walks towards the alley on the side of the club, away from the situation.